Hey guys, Daniel Zero, how you doing? I hope all is well in YouTube land, whatever part of the world that you are in. Okay, today we're going to be canning up some hamburger. We won the lottery a couple of days ago, so we used our $1.673 million to buy this 10-pound chub of hamburger, and that's all we got for it because it's crazy expensive nowadays. So anyway, we're going to can it up. So the first thing that we're going to do, and okay, now stop. I am not a hamburger cannerologist dude or anything, right? I'm just a dude. This is how I do it. Please do it the way that you like to do it, because if you don't like my way, there's always another way, and that's your way. So I'm going to brown this hamburger first before we can it. A lot of people will can it raw. That's great. That's fine if you can do it. That's just not my thing. That's not how I do it. I brown it, and then I will drain it into this bowl here, and we will. You can use the tallow for making soap, and it's got all kind of uses. But what we will do is we'll make a suet block for our chickens out of the fat that we have here that we're going to cook off. So the first thing we're going to do is start taking our little chub here, and I've got my skillet going, and we are just going to start browning up this hamburger. And it will take us a little while to get it all cooked and browned, but that's okay because it's going to reap huge benefits in the future. This way we can take a can of hamburger that we can up in a jar of sauce, cook some cook some noodles or whatever, and you got a meal ready. Throw some sloppy joe mix or some barbecue together. You got barbecue sandwiches. It's just really easy to use once it's already canned up and ready to go. So first step for me anyway, in the way that I can hamburger, is to brown the hamburger, and we're going to just add some salt and pepper to this to taste for seasoning, because like I say, a lot of times once you open it up and you start to use the hamburger, then you can season it also then. So here we go. We're going to brown up all this hamburger, and then we're going to drain it. Once it's done browning, we'll drain it in here. So we'll see you in a little bit when we get some more done. Okay guys, we got all of that hamburger browned up. That was 10 pounds of hamburger, and it's going to fill exactly 10 pint jars. That old saying, pints a pound the world around. So now that remember this hamburger's already cooked, so we're just going to really pack it into the jar. Pack it down as much as you can get. The more you pack it, the less air bubbles that'll be in there. Because your jar filled up with food is good, your jar filled up with air is bad. So we pack it down. We're using a plastic spoon. You don't want to use any kind of metal utensils. Now we've got to pack down as much as we're going to put in there. We've got hot water with some beef broth that we made. Yeah, you could use the fat that you just used, but there's not going to be enough. 1, and 2, this is going to add a little bit of flavor and keep it moist when you can it. And 3, I wanted to use the fat to make a chicken block to help fatten up our chickens that we're growing out. So now we're just going to add a little bit of this broth. We're going to fill it up to the rim just like that. And we're going to set this aside. We're going to do that to all 10 of our pint jars. And then once we get done with the jar just like that, you're going to always wipe the rim. I wipe my rings, the threads where the ring goes to, and like that. Since I'm pressure canning, I did not soak my lids or my rings, because I am a very firm believer that there's going to be so much heat and so much pressure on this that these rings are going to seal regardless. So now we've got that under, finger tight. It's ready to go into the canner. We're using the All-American canner, the short one. It will hold these 10 pints. I'm not adding any extra salt. I'm not adding anything else to this hamburger because we will use it. We'll spice it as we use it, whether it be for tacos or for spaghetti or for sloppy joes, whatever it may be. So this is what we're going to do. This is the next step. Adding the broth to the jars, and then getting the jar ready for the canner. And you can bubble them if you like. So that's how it is. We're going to do that to all 10 of these, and we'll put them in the canner, and we'll let you see them once they're in the canner. All right, so I got 9 pints in here instead of 10. I thought it held 10, but it only holds 9. It is what it is. So we've got our 9 pints in here. I've got my 3 inches of water, and I'm going to put the lid on the canner. And as you notice, I use a glass top stove. They don't recommend it, but I use what I have. And as long as you are careful and you don't banging everything around and getting all crazy, slamming shit, then it will work. I use it all the time. So now we put our lid onto our canner, and we tighten it down real good. And like I said, remember in my pressure canning video where we oil the lid so you get a good seal on it. And we turn the heat on, and we'll wait for it to start steaming. Once it starts steaming, and you got steam coming out of the vent here, we'll let it vent for 10 minutes, and then we will put the 10-pound weight on here, and we will bring it up to 10 pounds. And we will let this pint jars process for 75 minutes at 10 pounds of pressure. And then we will see you at some point here in a little bit when we are at another step of some sort. So, okay, guys. So my buddy just asked me a question, and I figured I would go ahead and answer it because maybe somebody else will have the same question. He asked me, since the hamburger's already cooked, why do we still need to process it for the 75 minutes like you would something raw? And I have an answer for that. Is one, it was exposed to the air while after we cooked it. We let it cool down so we can handle it to room temperature, and it was exposed to the air. Plus, the water that we used for the broth was not boiling water, so all that stuff will have bacteria and spores and stuff like that in it. And then if you just canned it for a few minutes, you would take a chance on it not killing all that stuff in there. So we're going to go ahead and process it as it is raw for the full 75 minutes. That way we will be sure that everything that is in there is safe and sanitary and clean and sterile and safe for eat, and it'll hold for many, many years on the shelf. So I hope that helps. I hope that answers somebody's question if they had the same question. If not, then you just listen to me ramble on for 30 seconds about nothing. We'll see you in a bit. Okay, guys, we let this process for 75 minutes, and now the canner has cooled down enough where we can handle it. Make sure you always open your canner away from you to avoid steam burns. There are our canned pint jars of hamburger. We just remove them just like you do anything else that's canned, and set them aside so they can start popping and sealing. And I love that sound it makes whenever they start popping, that's for sure. So like I said, we got nine pint jars here that we did, and this is how I can my hamburger meat. And that you can tell that they're still boiling, and it won't be long and they'll start popping and sealing, and they'll be ready to set on the shelf and store for a good long time. So I hope this helps. This is how I do it. If you don't like my method, you give it a shot and do it however you feel you want to do it. This is just kind of an idea for those who asked how do I can my hamburger meat. So there you have it. All right, guys, so you have a great day. If I can do it, you can do it. Thanks for watching. God bless. The end. Buzz, buzz, the end.